Welcome to Irresistible You, Ignite Your Passion and Purpose. I'm your host, Karen Seltz. If you are new to me, there's really only three things you need to know. Number one is I have overcome depression, anxiety, and addiction, along with all the crap that went with it, the suicidal thoughts, the low self-esteem, the playing small. So wherever you are on your journey, just know that I've probably been there. The second thing is that I really care about how you feel when you watch my content. And I want you to feel like you've known me your entire life and feel completely safe, that you can just let your guard down and approach everything I say with curiosity. I don't want you to buy it. I don't want you to believe it because I say it. I want you to ask yourself, is it possible? And just be open and curious. That's it. And the third thing that you really need to know about me is I consider my greatest superpower to be that of a divine mirror. And what I mean by that is I have the ability to see people through the eyes of the divine. So to see you in your beauty, your strengths, to see all your gifts and talents, whether you're using them or not, and to reflect them back to you until you get it for yourself. And you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. Yes, I see. I can see the light. Yeah. And the fourth thing, I know I said three, is I really like to have fun. I believe that life is too short to be serious. And I really do this show to help you shortcut your journey, because I don't want you to be stuck in the mud like I was for a long time and to believe all those lies about yourself like I did. So today we are going to be discussing and doing a process on creating a new you for the new year. And you ever wonder like why your New Year's resolutions don't stick? You ever go to the gym on January 2nd and there's a zillion people there, and then the following week it's back to normal? Well, there's a process that people are skipping. There are some steps along the way that people are not doing in general. So one of those would be to clear the slate, to figure out, okay, what is no longer going to be welcome in my future? What do I want to let go of? What do I get to release in order to move forward? What am I tethered to? What are my triggers? What's holding me down? So if you think about, I love the analogy, like if you're going out on a boat and the boat sinks, what do you take with you as you're in the water? Do you take all your baggage? You take your luggage? You're like, oh, I need to have this. No, it will drag you down and you will drown. And yet we go through life like that. Unconsciously, we carry all that baggage, and it is a weight. It is a weight. And it is a process oftentimes of letting it go. So I wanted to take you through some clearing processes and get clear on where you're going and what no longer belongs in that future version of you. Another part of this process is, I'm sure you've heard this, but in the 12-step recovery program, you'll hear it a lot. What you resist persists. And I have conversations with people often, clients, friends, about things that they're resisting. And by that, I mean parts like personality traits or characteristics that they think are unlovable. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine today about being controlling. And I said, well, what does it mean if you're controlling? Well, that means that it boiled down to, there were a lot of steps in between, but it boiled down to, I'm not lovable. And then we dug deeper, like, well, what is it that control gives you? Or what do you think it gives you? Safety. She just wanted to feel safe. So she was trying to control situations. Does that make her unlovable? Of course not. Of course not. So one of my trigger words for a very long time was selfish, because in my house, it would be my mom using that. And it was a weapon. That word was a weapon to me. It cut me so deep. If she said you're selfish, I took it to mean you are the most worthless piece of crap and you don't deserve to exist. I mean, I know I took it to the extreme, but that's how deeply it affected me. And we all have these trigger words. And so if somebody called me selfish, they could manipulate me into just about anything because I would do anything to not be selfish or to not be perceived as selfish. Well, that only lasts for so long. You can't keep that up. That's not a sustainable way of going about life. So eventually I was empty and I was trying to pour from an empty cup and it just didn't work and my life broke down. So you get to look at those things. And I had another conversation tonight with another good friend of mine, and we were talking about masculine and feminine energy. And a lot of women are trained to be givers, to be nurturing, to be loving. And I'm using air quotes because it's not loving, but we're trained to overgive, to take care of people. And you know what? That's masculine energy. The feminine energy is receiving, it's receptive. It allows people to pour in to you, to her. She is the mother, she is the goddess, and you are that too. Whether you're a mother or not, that doesn't matter. It's an energy thing. So feminine energy is receptive. I learned in relationships, I was coaching the guys I was dating a lot of times. And then I read this article on masculine and feminine energy, coaching masculine energy. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was emasculating them. And anytime we don't allow men to give to us, we are emasculating them. We're taking from them. It's, think about it. It's interesting. So where I'm getting at with that is, what are the pieces of yourself that you've been pushing away? You're like, no, I'm not selfish. I can prove it. Look how giving I am. You get to bring those pieces back in and reintegrate them. And you need to love on them. Like you get to like hold them. It's like, it's okay. And I call her my selfish little bitch. I'm like, it's okay, my selfish little bitch. I got you. I got you. I love you. You are welcome here. So we're going to do those three things. We're going to decide, okay, where are we going? What do we want for the next year? And I do these Native American purification lodges and we pray. We go in a sweat lodge, we pray. And the first round is prayers for yourself. Like, what do you want? You get to pray for it. Your second round is prayers for others. The third round is called the giveaway round. And I absolutely love this because it's what is preventing you from having what you prayed for in the first round. Then you give it away. And you give it away with conviction. You're like, I give it away and I give it away now. And you're like done with it. So we're going to do that. We're going to call in what we want. We're going to give away anything that doesn't belong in our future. And we're going to reintegrate those pieces that we thought were not lovable, that we thought, oh, if I pretend to not be these, I'll be lovable, I'll be acceptable. So we're going to do those three things. And I am going to channel this. I invite you to get a notebook because there are going to be moments I'm going to ask you to write some things down. The rest of the time, I invite you to just open your heart and just be present in this energy. Be present for yourself. Take these few moments and get clear, because what you want matters. It was not put there by some ego part of you. What you really want deep in your heart was put in there by the divine. And it is your birthright to have it, to be it, to do it. So don't ignore that, because that leads to depression and unhappiness and misalignment everywhere. So you get to follow that thread of desire. What do you really want more than anything? And a lot of times people are afraid to say it out loud because if they don't get it, they'll feel like they failed. I want you to write it down. I want you to be really, really honest with yourself. Just get really honest, get authentic and vulnerable. Nobody else needs to see this unless you want them to, unless you want to share it. This is yours and yours alone. And it is your sacred gift to yourself. So I'm going to invite you at this moment to gently close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And exhale out all of your air. And then contract your ab muscles, forcing out any stale air that's remaining. And then just allow that lungs to fill up with fresh oxygen. And sigh it out. Maybe shake your shoulders a little bit. Maybe make some noise. So let's take a breath in. And then let's shake it out. Yeah, just let it go. Let everything go. Just breathe naturally. Letting everything go. Letting your busy day go. Being present in the moment. Not worrying about what you get to do when you're done with this. Putting all of that in a box. Closing the lid. And give the little pat, like, I'll get to you. You'll have your time, I promise. All the worries go in one box. All the coulda, woulda, shouldas in another box. And just lovingly place them there. And let them know you'll give them attention when it's time. Right now, you get to take this time for you. Exhale out all your air. And then breathe deeply, starting from the bottom of your lungs, filling up the stomach, the chest, the back, and the throat. And just hold it for a few seconds and slowly release it. Just connect to your breath, your lifeblood, your power. All of your personal power is located in your breath. Anytime you go back to the past or start going to the future, just breathe. And you can say inside your head, breathing in and breathing out. Just connecting. And if it feels right to you, place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your stomach. And feel your beautiful body and thank it for everything it does for you. Giving yourself a hug through the heart and the stomach. Turning some love inward. Because you do so much for everyone else. This is your time to love yourself, to honor yourself, and to create the future that you are here for. The next breath you breathe in right through that heart center. Feeling the heart expand with possibility, with universal love, with light. And as you exhale it, spread that love, see it going everywhere. All the love and positivity for all the people who don't feel loved right now. Those that are sad, those that are hurting, those that are fearful. Breathing in all the love of the universe and magnifying it through your heart and sending it right back out, creating a blanket of love all around you that expands further and further with every breath. Having the intention of it reaching someone who needs it. Someone who needs it right now can feel your love. And now, journey inward into your heart. And ask yourself, what do I desire most in the next 12 months? What would make my heart the happiest? And just keep asking, what else? What else would make my heart sing? What else would make me squeal with joy? And if you like, you can write them down in between or just make a mental note. What else do I want? What have I always wanted but have been afraid to say out loud? And now create a picture in your mind. Is there one image, one snapshot you could take that would encapsulate everything, all of your heart's desires? When you see that picture, it's like it's all done. It's like you have arrived. You have manifested your vision, your heart's desires. Anchor that picture in. Like, where are you? Who's with you? What are you wearing? What is your body like? Like, what's your position? What are you feeling? What thoughts are going through your head? What do you see? What do you smell? What does your skin feel like? And maybe even what do you taste? Root that picture deeply in. That is your target. What does that person think about herself? How does she feel? What's her self-talk like? What do people's faces look like when they see her enter a room? And how does she make them feel? Does she work hard for things, or do things flow to her with ease and grace? Paint the whole picture. When you have that anchored in, I invite you to open your eyes and write down as much as you can remember. Write down every little detail that you can remember. And if you're watching the replay, you can pause this and take as much time as you'd like here. Now we're going to move to the next step, which is taking you into the Christmas past. No, the ghost of Christmas past. I don't know, I'm just making it up. But what over the last year or over the course of your lifetime, what have been the things that have continually held you back from being the woman of your vision? Was it a story that you told yourself, like, oh, that's only for other people? Was it other people? You know, did things happen to you? Did events happen? Like, were you the victim of circumstance? Like, what are the things that prevented you from being that woman now? Write all of those down and take some time with this one on your own. Take some time, pause the video, and write all of those down, because those are going to be important. And just pause that for right now. And what you're going to do with those is you're going to tell your subconscious mind, okay, watch for these things. Watch for times when I've given my power away and thought that I was a victim, because you're never, ever a victim. ever, ever. Like you have the power to create whatever you want. When you don't use that power, sometimes things just happen. So you get to consciously choose what you want to happen and then leave the how up to the universe. Like, this is what I want to happen. Bring it in a way that I least expected. That surprises me and delights me. Yes. But watch for those things. Like sometimes I remember thinking for many years, like, oh, I don't have a choice here. Well, bull. I didn't see that I had a choice. Now I see it. All along the way, we have choices everywhere. Yes. Do we have to pay taxes? No, we do not. If we don't, there will be consequences. So you always have a choice. You may choose to do whatever, is expected so you don't face the consequence, but realize you always have a choice. Okay. Like you don't have to work. You might not have a house, but you might. I don't know. The last part of this is, what are the words that trigger you? And the easiest way to figure these out is when you interact with people who are your biggest messiahs, your biggest teachers. And by that, I mean the people that piss you off the most. Those are your teachers. Okay. So you're going to look at, your day-to-day interactions. Who are the people that trigger you or piss you off or that you judge? So these are your teachers, and you want to write down what pisses me off about them. What are the characteristics that they have that I cannot stand? So maybe it's your ex and you're like, he's selfish, he's arrogant, he's thoughtless, whatever it is. Just write all of those things down. Those then become the pieces of you that you get to bring back. Okay, when have I been selfish? Okay, I was selfish when I went to my first Dr. Joe retreat on my daughter's 13th birthday. Yeah, that was selfish. And I don't regret it. I made the choice consciously because I knew that I had to be there. I just had a knowing. And I also knew that if I didn't go, I would be resentful. And I didn't want that for her or for me. So I made the choice. All right. So when is it okay to be selfish? You also want to look at, when are the gifts of being selfish? Well, if you've ever experienced burnout, you will know that it takes a large degree of self-care to avoid things like burnout. If you've been a people pleaser and you are full of resentment and bitterness and anger and martyrdom, well, you get to look at your self-care and you get to be selfish. You get to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can assist other passengers, right? So remember that analogy. So look at all those characteristics that you see in other people, because they're nothing more than projections. At some point in our lives, we learned, if I show up as selfish, or whatever the word is, I won't be loved. And if I'm not loved, I could die. I mean, it's a lot of times it's rooted so deeply in our survival, and we don't recognize it anymore. We just like put that piece in a closet, that characteristic, and we shut the door. But when we do that, we're like ripping huge pieces of ourselves out. So we look down, we're like, okay, selfishness, you're not okay. And you come out. Bitchiness, nope, not okay. Controlling. And then you look down and you're full of holes. And so what do? We're like, okay, I need someone to accept me and love me. So we're trying to fill those holes out here, and nothing will ever fill them until we bring those pieces back, because we are holistic beings. We have every single characteristic within us. So there's no sense of fighting it. If we don't accept it, that we are everything. Yes, I'm murderous. We all have murderous thoughts at one point or another. We have everything. And the more we resist it, the more we project it onto other people. And then we're in denial. And we will never, ever have our vision when we're trying to go at it as a half a person or a quarter or a tenth, right? Like, we get to accept all of it and love it and bring it in. And like, yeah, play with it. Like, yep, there I go being a bitch again. So what? It's just as lovable as being funny or whatever. It's just as lovable. They're no different. So then you're going to keep playing with this. So create that snapshot of your vision and keep it, like keep rehearsing it, mentally rehearse, keep going to that place. I have mine. Mine is, I'm going to share it. I don't know. No, I'm not going to share it, but mine is beautiful and it encapsulates everything that I want to create in my relationship, my career, my abundance, my adventure. It's all in this one picture. And it's a short video, but it's a picture and I have it. It is in there. And I keep going back to it. Okay. Because the closer I get to it, the closer it comes to materializing. Same for you. So create your picture, go back to it. And the loving yourself part, the bringing all those pieces back and the letting go of the other stuff that doesn't serve you, that's a process. So sometimes people will do a ritual where they'll write playing small. They'll write all the things that are holding them back on a piece of paper and they'll burn them, or they'll write them on rocks and throw them in the water, something where it's like it's a ritual where you're actually like letting it go. And you're welcome to do that. Where I've gone wrong in the past is thinking, okay, I'm done with that. Well, the subconscious mind doesn't work that way. It's like, well, here's another reminder. I'm still here. La, 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 la. So just know you can do the ritual and you might get to do it again tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, because our subconscious mind is a permanent record of everything and it's not going anywhere. So make friends with it. All those things, you just want to be aware when they are running you from the subconscious mind. So you're bringing them up to your awareness so that you have a choice. Because if you're not aware you're doing them, you are not at choice. You are the program. You're just unconscious, which is 95% of the time, our subconscious is running everything. We get to become conscious of the things that we no longer want to do. We no longer want to be, so that we can create our beautiful visions. Let me know if this was helpful. I am so excited to go into the new year with a fresh start and a clean slate. Thank you so much for watching Irresistible You. Ignite your passion and purpose. I love you so much. Mwah. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. See you next week.